Hey everybody, it's Kevin, Canadian Hillbilly, and I'm sitting in Edmonton. I came here today to do some panning. The river was incredibly high because it's been raining for the last 3.5 days, and there was no dirt. It was just greenery and water. So yeah, and getting in and out of there, interesting. The mud, fun. So I messaged a friend of mine who lives in Edmonton here, and he invited me over. And my friend is Mr. Paul Jarvis of Adventures in Gold Prospecting.
Otherwise known as Do All Paul, mostly because I do it all.
There you go. And this is where the magic happens, ladies and gentlemen.
This is my humble abode. It is a disaster at the moment because I'm in the midst of redoing a smokercraft fishing boat, which is outside of prospecting building, but at this time of year I start to reduce my prospecting manufacturing, and I get more into my family projects that I normally put off in order to support my prospecting community. So right now I've got this smokercraft outside, which belongs to my best friend. He inherited it from his dad, and I'm going to rebuild it from the ground up, doing all the aluminum, the wood, carts, the whole 9 yards. Otherwise, I would be building high bankers for all of you. But if you'd like a high banker or a piece of prospecting equipment, please hit me up. September is the beginning of production season for manufacturing, and production runs from September until pretty much June, and then I dial it back for family. So we're at that point right now in this year.
So when the kids are out of school and on vacation, so is Paul.
Correct. Correct. And I'm taking the old man fishing. So this Father's Day, we're going to do a Father's Day thing, which is something I always miss out on. And we're going to do some family stuff. So yeah, I'm stepping back from the building. Even at $5,000 an ounce rates, we're still putting family first.
So you got probably a bit of a waiting list, or?
I have been pretty successful with chopping the waiting list down. I had a bunch of pre-orders for 8-inch. The last one is here ready to be shipped. Otherwise, I think I have all my commitments fulfilled. Anybody that I missed out on, I do truly apologize, and it's never in bad taste. I don't try to hurt people. I just family first always. And this is part of the reason why everyone on my pre-purchase list had 0 deposits. I don't take any money from anybody. I just get them on a list so I know what I need to build. I build it. I contact people if they're still interested. We roll ahead. So I'm not one of those guys to take your money and forget about you.
That's good, yeah. I just got you.
I'm not really sure, Paul, why you lied to the camera. Because you said that this place is
fucking liar.
This is the cleanest I've ever seen your fucking garage.
I swept it this morning. This is the sign that I'm dialing in. The fact you can see the floor. If you couldn't see the floor, you would know I was in full-on production, because it gets like shin deep in here. That's probably fair, hey?
There's a lot of stuff in here.
It gets really crazy. I'll have sluices piled almost to the roof, and garbage will be everywhere, and then you know that I don't have time for anybody but building. But right now we're at the end of that season, so I'm really catering towards the family aspect, and cleaning up the shop is a big part of that. So I have pretty much, thankfully, because of these fine folks that watch your show and follow prospecting, I pretty much sold everything I built.
Perfect.
Probably had my best spring I have had in 7 years. I think ever. I think this is my best spring I've had.
And you've been building for how long now? Almost 10 years or so, or what?
Somebody clicked on a video from 2017, which showed me building with Chris Adams from Alberta Gold Equipment before he went out of business. So I think that is right around the realm. 2016, 2017 is when I started, and then my business officiated the year following. So I've been in business since 2018 as a legitimate Canadian small business, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Hopefully we'll continue to see the growth, and the community has grown huge, and it's always really great to see people coming into the community. And my whole goal, I say this all the time, my goal is to be a guide in my customers' journey. I don't tell them what they need to buy. I align what they're looking for with their dreams with the products to support it. So from big to small, whatever they're after, I like to have something to cater to it. And I make units from 6 inches and up, lots of larger units, which are very popular for the people who are super energetic, but small units are just killing it this year.
Yeah, like 8 to 10 inch, 6 inch.
6 inch have been amazing. They're the great backpacker. I have a lot of riverboat clients this year, and the 6 inch has just been fitting the need. Fits under their seats. They can run a bilge pump, just small package. The 8 inch, I always move up people into the 8 inch when we're looking at being a little bit more of a progressive prospector, where we want to be able to have a little bit higher production, still staying on the lightweight side of things, but having a system that is capable. And then like this unit here, you can get an extension on it, and now we're into full-blown production mode. And they just grow from there. So really it's about catering to what people need instead of what I want to sell. I could easily sell you the only product I have built, but that doesn't fill your needs, so my goal is to make sure that the product that I sell to you is what you're actually looking for.
Yeah, I really miss my 10 inch, and that thing was a beast. Like, you know, I could run it by myself, but it was to the point where if I didn't have the water choked back, I knew I was blowing it out because I couldn't keep it at a constant feed because it was just gobbling up the dirt so fast.
It drops off so quickly, right?
Yeah.
And this is the conversation I have with people all the time. If you can't keep your unit fed, then you likely have too big of a unit. When your slurry percentage drops off, it drastically affects your overall recovery, especially when we're referring to fine gold recovery. Your coarser, heavier gold isn't really migrating through your box, but your fine gold is constantly being ejected out by larger material. So I have a lot of people beat me up on Facebook over like my wedgie, for example. They'll be like, oh, I can see water skirting off the back. The difference in a unit like that is I'm running an 8 mesh grizzly. So the only material going through my high banker is sand. I have that unit dialed in specifically for fine gold recovery. So I'm okay with a little bit of material loss off the back because I know the efficiency of the box to be high. So it's just whatever fits your needs. And for all of us, it's always going to be different. So to think that there's one box that checks off everybody isn't right.
So yeah, that's another thing. Like your interactions with your customers are awesome. Like when I bought my high banker off of you, you were asking me a lot of questions about that specifically, and so that's one of the things I appreciated because it allowed me to capture greater amounts of gold and also have a more diversity in what the machine was capable of just doing. I wasn't just pinned down to one specific thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really easy to kind of get a generic system that fits kind of all needs, but isn't really great at any of them, where I like to be kind of one step further and the system that I provide to you be the best option for what you're looking to do. Instead of the compromise. And I'll have this conversation with clients all the time that when it's like anything in life, you are going to make compromises in order to reach your goal. You want this, you have to sacrifice this. You want this, you have to sacrifice this. And in our gold mining realm, it's literally the same thing. You want portability, well, you're sacrificing size for portability. You want a small pump, you want a big pump. It's wherever you fit in that group that we align all the other checks on the box, so to say, to make sure that you end up with a package that fits your needs. And every prospector I have met, and I truly mean this, every prospector I have met has different needs.
Yeah.
Often overlooked by most of the competition. You can go online, you can go on Amazon, you can click the box and get it to you, but that product hasn't been tailored to your needs. It's a generic product. I will tailor recovery, grizzly size, type of spray bar, the flow rates, anything that is required of my customer, I can pretty much tailor my box to fit.
And you've done actually a lot of things in your manufacturing process that are now being almost copied.
Standardized?
Yeah, standardized almost, if you will. Like the Jarvis ripple. that's a game changer, you know. Chris Bogus, he talks about that all the time. He loves that little piece of punch plate. Yeah.
And that was just a unique design that came together with a little bit of collaboration and a little bit of like-minded thinking. I was looking for a solution for the crash box location in the high banker, which when I started out was often being left as a void space. Would be a slick plate in many of the manufacturer's boxes, and in my mindset, I always looked at that as space to be utilized for recovery. But how do we do it to benefit the primary recovery after it? And it's from the time the material hits the hopper, stratifies, classifies, and hits our recovery. All the things that happen along the lines have to benefit each other. So with due process, I've been able to find different pieces that work very well together. And the idea is to make each piece benefit the one before it. So your primary recovery, whether it's, you know, a name brand recovery mat, or it's a V-mat, or it's something you found at Home Depot, if it's going to be optimized, we need to find the way to optimize it, and that just comes through trial and error, and that is essentially what I've done with all my products. So all of the boxes, especially the high bankers, whether it's a 6, an 8, a 10, a 12, a 14, a 16, they're all built off the same premise. They all utilize the same type of recovery mechanisms in each category of box. And the reason that is because they benefit each part of the recovery through the box. So whether it's a 6, an 8, a 10, 12, 14, those small changes in the way the recovery is laid out optimizes the overall recovery. And that is what my goal is to get that optimized recovery to a production level feed rate of a hobby prospector.
Yeah, like I remember when I put, I think it was a 3/8 mesh there right over the crash box, had a layer of V-mat underneath it, and then moss, and I sent you the pictures there, and you're pretty stoked. You're like, that's a great idea. Yeah, and it worked so well, because you know, all the larger round flat rocks weren't sliding through the grizzly and plugging up the dream mat on the way down. So and the gold I'm getting is relatively fine. You know, I get the occasional nugget in it, but nothing big. You know what I mean? So it was a good setup for me. It worked really well, and I missed that box. Yeah, I think that was the only thing that was left of it after that fire was the leg brackets and the stainless steel mesh. Everything else was gone. Nothing left of it. Yeah, I had it in an aluminum box too. That was for back of a pickup truck, so that way I could just have everything all locked up at the bottom of the hill, all the camping gear and everything, and I get there and it was just sad. Yeah.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah. But that's the way Mother Nature is some days. Yeah. So you got your what? You got your one brake over there?
Yeah, I've got 3 brakes in my shop.
Oh, the other little one over there.
A 48-inch box pan brake. I've got a 72-inch box pan brake, and then I can't remember what the name of that one is, but I've got a 36-inch press brake. That's what that one is.
Okay.
And each one of these tools are used in different parts of my production. They all have a unique benefit to them. It's not like I just keep buying brakes because they're fun to have. This is essentially what it takes to be a manufacturer. I've got a tool for cutting metal, I've got a tool for deburring metal, I've got a tool for putting holes in metal, I've got a tool for bending metal, and I've got a tool for gluing metal together. And my favorite thing to read on Facebook is how you can do it yourself. And I am the largest DIY backer. If you can do it yourself, I'm right behind you. I'll support you with whatever products you need. But the reality is, most people do not have the tooling or the skill set to be a DIYer. In which case, spending your hard-earned money at your profession that you're excellent at is the greatest way to move forward. I own a boat. I didn't build it. I bought a boat from a reputable boat manufacturer because they build boats better than I could.
Only makes sense, yeah.
About that, doing what you're good at and allowing other people to do what they're good at. And then if you can mesh together and create something wonderful, that's what happens. The wedgie box that I've come up with this spring, which is the 8 to 14 flared box with the flared hopper, it is so cool. Such a unique build that I did, and that came from a conversation of running into a prospector at Metal Supermarket. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, we're having a conversation discussing where we see the future of fine gold, where we see the past of fine gold recovery people, and it's just the meshing of those ideas.
And yeah, the wider you go, the slower the water travels, so it gives the fine gold a better chance of falling out at that speed.
That's right.
You know?
And we're also, like, we have to keep into perspective that most of my clientele are hobby-based. So I'm not dealing with industrial-based miners. I have in the past, and I would in the future, but they are not the main clientele that show up to the door. Most of the people that show up are just hobby prospectors that want to go out and have some fun, enjoy the river valley, enjoy what Mother Nature has to offer, and get a little bit of our fine, shiny gold as a return. Most people are not prospecting on the idea that they're going to supplement income or that they're going to somehow hit the mother lode. They're generally doing it because they're looking for activities outside of staying at home, sitting on their phones. They're looking for ways to get their children involved. My kids learned how to swim in the river at 3 years old while I was prospecting. That's how it all started for my family. My kids are all proficient swimmers. I go to the river any day of the week, and I would never think twice about them swimming in it because they have the experience over 10 years of their lives of that. So, it's a family event. It really brings everybody together. I brought out my neighbor with me. He'd never been into this before. We bring his family out. We have barbecues. We enjoy the river valley. His kids are swimming. Our dogs are swimming. And we're disconnected from this requirement of life of being plugged in. And there isn't anything freer, in my opinion.
I agree. It's going out and prospecting to me, it's just getting out into nature, being out in the bush. It's it's just away from everything. It's relaxing. The sound of the water. It's just peaceful. I always say get in touch with your inner caveman. It's like sitting around a campfire. You know what I mean? You feel security. You feel warmth, and it's a peaceful feeling. You know what I mean?
Our primal instincts aren't gone. They're just suppressed, and they're suppressed by technology. They're suppressed by the technological push of life of, go to work, 9 to 5. And what you do is you forget about being grounded with nature, about being out there foraging, about supplying yourself with your own food, your own means of life. And for me, prospecting is as rude as it gets back to on being human. Hunting, foraging, gathering, minerals, those are all the necessities for life for simple men. And if you connect those things into your own being, there is so much fulfillment from that. So I take my children fishing. I take my children into the backcountry. I take them hunting because I want them to experience what life truly is about in the disconnected world.
Yeah, it's also food security too. It's nice knowing every step of the way. Like I go moose hunting, and I don't know, maybe I'm just got a germaphobe kind of thing. But when it comes to buying meat out of a kitchen or out of a store or whatever, I prefer knowing when the animal is walking, knowing how it was put down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and make sure that the cleaning of pulling the guts out was nice and properly aged meat and butchered and packaged. It's nice having that peace of mind, knowing every step along the way.
When you showed up, I should have actually said, welcome to the Jarvis farm. Because even though we're in the city, I raise my own chickens, I have my own garden, I hunt, I fish. We supplement our own diet by choosing to do that. Lots of people are happy to go to Superstore and just pay the bill and get what they need. But for me, that's a real disconnect from where I come from. So these small details that I have, even living in the city, are enough to connect me back to Mother Earth and to connect my children back so that we feel a connection to what we're living for, that life isn't just about working and vacations.
Yeah.
Life is about enjoyment. And there is so much enjoyment that comes from simple things. And prospecting is one of those things. The mineralization collection that we get, whether it's, gold, fossils, petrified wood, any of the different things that we pull out of our sluices when we go, provide us enjoyment. It's not just let's wash rocks and not know why. Like, it's a connection. It really is a connection.
So Paul says he's got some concentrates he wants to clean out. So I'm going to hit the brakes on this, and we'll let him set up one of his magical little toys, and hopefully I'll turn it back on and we get to see some dirt in action.
Unfortunately, because I didn't wash this dirt, we're going to mud up the water pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is our flower gold, baby.
A little bit in there.
Well, you're getting more than I got today. I still got the few specks on the bottom of the pan.
You followed the NSR page?
Yep.
John's got one of my wedgies. I love the fact he does his cleanups out at the river. He'll high bank and then he washes his cons right there at the river. He only comes home with his very, very minimal amount to finish. I say we just go rude and dump her in and see if we can see some flower gold show up.
All right, Connor. Game on.
Sometimes we run more on this, sometimes we run less, but Connor's pretty well versed in how this all goes, and he can tell you if my gold sucks right away.
Speed's high.
Oh, I saw pieces.
These are the ones there.
The speed is definitely hot. We gotta turn it
Dial
down
it back a little bit. I'll do that.
At least it's hanging up right in the...
It should be in the drop riffle is where you should see it. Con, you're going to have to do a slight side-to-side adjustment. A bit low on the one corner.
Which side?
This one. And I think he dropped off just a smidge too much flow.
We might have, yeah.
Slight cunt here more. This is why you don't want to use these valves. But nope, that's not enough either.
Yeah, I like ball valves.
Yeah.
Solid metal ball valves.
Yeah. You want gate
Teflon
valves
lighting.
when possible. That looks decent.
Oh, yeah.
Any gold in it?
Oh, yeah.
There's a little bit,
See a bunch of little micros in there.
but it's definitely not our best.
See, that's the problem. See, Connor can tell just by the first spoonful hitting here whether or not we've got a cleanup really worth being concerned with.
Yeah.
Because what we want to see is every spoonful hit this slick plate with light. And we're seeing like 20, 30 pieces coming down. And I know I was set up on a low gold count, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Let's see if we can get it to show up in the box.
Yeah, I think the majority is going to be found in the first inch of the...
Are you seeing it on? Are you seeing it on the camera?
I would have to push the button. I don't know, the screen's so dang small, I can't even tell.
Can't even tell.
Yeah.
You might want to get a few shots without the light as well too, because it might show up better without the light.
Well, Paul let me pan out his stuff from his concentrates, and there we go. A little bit of gold for the video. And don't forget, look this guy up.
North Saskatchewan River Gold, Adventures in Gold Prospecting.
Give him some love, sell, buy, do his thing, help this guy out. Family man, he's got chickens. How could you not want to support this guy? Come on.
That's right. 100%. I got you, you got me, we all cover each other. It's a big community, so just here to help out.
Thank you, Paul. I really appreciate this visit, man. This is a lot of fun for me.
Stoked you came by. I know we've been talking about it for a while, so
Yeah.
glad it worked out.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Yeah, 'cause we've been chatting back and forth for years now.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah.
Face to a name.
Yeah. There we go.
And my awesome assistant Connor, you can't forget.
Oh yeah, Connor. There you go.
He takes care of the hard work.
Perfect. Well, you want to try this out and see what you get, or what?
Sure, we can do that too.
All right.
We'll do that.
Well, I guess I'm not concluding this video in a hurry. Let's keep on playing with the gold and make the pile smaller.
Lots of multi-gram days. It's just.
We definitely have.
It's high water season, so you're up in the higher banks,
Yeah.
and the gold doesn't show up till. So last year, that full one is mine. Last year I did more recovery in September than most guys do in the whole season, and the difference is that in September we're at our lowest water point, and you are as far out into the channel as can be.
Yeah.
During the high water seasons, especially where we are, you're digging dirt that's been dug over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So the gold content doesn't show up.
The parts per million is so much less. Yeah.
But come September, when we get our low water mark, that's when you'll start to see me with my, 2 hour for a gram or whatever it ends up being. Ready to do this?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's gold on that.
Oh, well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, sorry, I guess I.
No, it's fine. The camera, it moves. Static electricity on plastic is always nice. That's only when the fine gold. I never do it on a bluebird day. I always wait for it to be overcast. It's still stuck in. You might have to give you a little sweep.
Pass me anything hard. That far.
Yeah. And I always say the more you play with it, the smaller it gets.
I can pick this fine gold up. Here we go. Ready? See, it looked like nothing, and then it's in a nice line again. Not that it's going to weigh anything crazy.
Why is it not freaking...
Set it on and tear it.
Oh, it already was teared. Okay.
Down in the vial. Help me out, Connor. I think we got most of it there.
Yeah, we did.
I know we dropped a little bit in the pan. You know what? We're not going to cry about that because we're prospectors.
Oh, man.
Oh, 0.1, he says.
I said 1.5. That's pretty close to a guess.
Even with the gold I threw on the ground.
And what's left in the pan?
5 of
And
a
what's
gram
left
away.
of the pan.
And you lost a little seal for the
Yeah.
jar.
Oh, well, we're not even going to worry about that. This is for your, this is for your viewers. So that's just a, I don't know if you can see that. Little NSR gold, cleaned up. Looked like nothing. 0.2 of a gram. Not bad for doing a very small dig in a very small high banker. So,
Sure.
Connor, there's a piece of aluminum in there. You're fired. What? 0.2, buddy.
0.2.
That is
with the piece of aluminum,
with
it's
the
only
piece of
0.15.
That is not. Yeah, the aluminum in there looks shitty, but that's not a terrible dig, guys.
No.
For an hour. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We didn't clean the bottom mat. Didn't do a rerun. That's just right off the
Not
top
bad.
of the dome. Boom. And that's Kevin, not an NSR guy, panning it out, smashing it.
Yeah.
It's almost like I added gold or something.
And look at all the gold left in there. Like, we're getting so rich right now, guys.
Oh, yeah.
So rich. So rich.
Yeah.
This beer might be worth about as much as that.
I'm willing to trade this gold for 2 of these.
2 of these beers, guys.
And a hand.
Every man has his price. Well, that's awesome.
That's fun.
It's always nice to get double what you estimate, or
Right?
guesstimate. That's a bonus.
I was close. 0.15.
That's awesome.
Well, he's going by the Price is Right rules, I guess.
Price is Right.
Get
That's
close
right.
to it without going over.
So here's my last clean out in comparison.
Ah.
What did we get? How much did we get there? I can't remember.
That's 0.4, that's 0.2.
Yeah.
But just for your viewing sake, the difference between these two vials is prospecting. The smaller vial is setting up on an easy-to-dig location, and the bigger vial was me prospecting a spot to dig.
Searching where the gold is at. Yeah. It's like that my claim. Like I got 3 cells, and I went almost a half kilometer upstream. I was getting, 5 to 10 colors per pan. Went to the little magical bay. Boom. First pan was like 60 colors in.
Exactly.
All right. Go 40 feet away. Another 60, 70 colors.
That's almost the same amount of time on the box.
Downstream, back down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I always, like you say, you always wonder what's in the very bottom of the main channel, right? Like.
Well, it's not fair because you guys do have a bedrock to dig to.
Yeah.
We do not. So the idea of what's at the bottom of the channel is like, do you expect to hit natural gas and oil? When will the gravel seam end?
I've been on my claim, and when the water is raging through there, and you can hear the rocks grinding and through the bottom of the river course there, it shakes the ground.
As the boulders are shaking across the ground.
Yeah. It's just amazing the power of water.
And we're in, like, our environment is like a gravel pit that is slowly just migrating to the
moving around.
So it's just slowly turning. You've got your silts that are constantly moving, but you don't have a lot of true, like, rock on something parked.
Yeah.
You're dealing, to find a true bedrock outcrop is very difficult to come by. When I talked to the city planners at Emily Murphy Park here in town, the pilings, which are sitting on bedrock, are 13.1 meters down. Just gives you an idea. You ain't never digging there was a shovel.
Yeah. And that goes back to a lot of geological theory, right? Like they say this was once an ancient floodplain, and everything settled here, and it would just accumulate layer after layer after layer after layer on top of that bedrock, right?
Just lucky to have some big pieces of ice go for a ride.
Yeah. And all that ice came from probably BC or further up north in Yukon, and some gold probably hitchhiked on that, and that's how it's here.
When we went to Manitoba, I tried to tell the kids, the reason we have these lakes and these plains was based on this ice, this glacial movement, and it's like, try to imagine that the ice was 2 kilometers high. Try to fathom.
In some places it's almost 10 kilometers high.
But by perspective, you can't, what would that be?
Mm-hmm.
How deep is a lake when you have a 2 kilometer, 3 kilometer chunk of ice sitting there? You're talking about massive amounts of flooding and water movement, like something that we can't imagine because it's too large of a scale.
Well, everybody, this is Kevin signing off. I hope to see you guys next week. Thanks to Paul here for putting up with me for the afternoon. It was really nice. I appreciate it. I was always curious to see where my beloved high banker got its life. Now I know.
These 2 hands.
Thanks for watching. Bye.